Let me tell you a story I wish I never heard, and one I hope you never have to live. It happened in a stretch of woods people don't talk about anymore, not because it's cursed or haunted or blood-soaked, but because it's quiet. And the kind of quiet that makes you feel like the trees are holding their breath. The locals used to call them skin lanterns. They appeared as strange lights that drift through the forest after dark. They didn't look like fireflies, drones, or anything natural. Instead, they looked like soft yellow glows, floating in a way that wasn't human. One day, the skin lanterns visited 3 college kids named Lena, Brody, and Carlos. They all went camping for a good time out past Deer Fall Ridge. It wasn't on any current trail maps, just some moss-covered path and a hidden sign you would miss if you had blinked. They set up camp near a ridge just before dusk. It was odd because there was no wind, or bugs, or birds. In their place, just stillness. And that night is when the lights came. The first one appeared just beyond the trees. It appeared low in the sky and flickering. Brody figured it was just another camper, but Carlos thought it was some kind of spirit light. Lena didn't say a word, she just stared. Then a second light appeared, and then a third light. The lights circled the camp without ever coming close. They just waited. That night, Lena couldn't sleep, but not because of the lights. She was awake because she read in an old trail journal her grandfather had left her. The journal said, "Don't trust the lights. They don't have voices of their own, but if you speak, they will learn yours." By the time morning came, Carlos was gone. His boots were still by the fire, and his phone was still charging. And his footprints were bare, deep, warm to the touch, and led off into the trees, as if he'd almost been there. Brody panicked, but Lena told him not to speak. Brody didn't listen. He muttered, "What is this?" And that's when the forest whispered back, in Brody's voice, "What is this?" They ran on pure instinct. They had no gear and no plan. The lights didn't chase them. It was more like they followed them. After running only a short distance, they got disoriented and lost, so they returned to camp where it was safe, or so they thought. After they got back to camp, later that same night they heard voices. First it was Carlos's voice, then Lena's, and then Brody's. All were slightly wrong. It was like something repeating them from memory, but trying to remember how being human sounded. And when Lena shined her light on a nearby tree, she saw something blink. But it wasn't eyes, and not an animal. No, it was the bark that blinked. The next morning, Brody disappeared before sunrise. Only Lena made it out of there alive. The search team found her barefoot and silent, with a single word carved into her arm. Listen. Lena hasn't spoken since, but sometimes she writes about what she saw and about what she almost became. So if you're out hiking and you see lights drifting between the trees, don't follow, don't speak, and whatever you do, do not respond if they call your name.